Mexico's Colima volcano has erupted in spectacular style, spewing ash and smoke into the clear blue sky above. The head of Mexico's emergency services tweeted that the plume of gas reached a height of 2,000 meters. Part of the Pacific's ring of fire, the volcano has been showing activity since July 9th, and local authorities have an emergency plan set in place.
The British fighter jets have reportedly been given the green light to shoot down Russian aircraft over Syria. According to senior defense sources, the UK's Tornado aircraft operating in Iraq will be armed with air-to-air missiles that can intercept Russian warplanes.
Without a doubt, that it was a surface-to-air missile that shot down MH17, and that surface-to-air missile was fired from a system that NATO calls the SA-11, and that the Russians call the Buk surface-to-air missile system, which is one that can reach airplanes at a very high altitude, including a
We have bunkers becoming a very popular thing, especially here in the past decade. And who can blame folks, especially when you see the government taking all precautions and necessary steps to protect their assets. NORAD moving back into Cheyenne Mountain. A lot of moves being made by the government into protective bunker type of settings. And we have other companies out there that are absolutely bawling on this because they know that people across the globe are looking for a safe place to survive.
Well, lots of people in the Southland reported seeing something that looked like a meteor streak across the sky tonight. There were tweets from all over, including Burbank, Redondo Beach, and Whittier, all the way from Ventura County to San Diego, and all described the same bright green flash.
You were looking at the result of a temporary pedestrian bridge collapsing on the M1, which is outside of Johannesburg, landing on the freeway here, and tragically 2 people have been killed, at least 17 others injured.
It looks almost like a scene from an action movie. Dozens of ballistic missile launching systems inside a gigantic cave. But the video shows Iran's missile program is very real and very big, as the head of the elite Revolutionary Guard's Aerospace Division says. The missiles in various ranges are mounted on launchers in all bases and are ready to be launched, he told an Iranian state TV reporter, and added, that is, if enemies make a mistake.
Thai Power Company denies road collapse accusations. In southern Taiwan, a major road collapsed a meter into the ground as though stomped on by an angry giant.
Once again, Taiwan faces the threat of 2 tropical storms, Kopu and Chempi. Forecasters believe Chempi is unlikely to affect Taiwan as it's still far away, though Kopu could affect Taiwan if it moves northward after approaching the Philippines.
Amid tensions over Beijing's building of islands in the disputed waters, a senior Chinese general said on Saturday that China will never recklessly resort to the use of force in the South China Sea. China's neighboring Southeast Asian countries, especially the Philippines and Vietnam, who have competing claims in the South China Sea, have been strained over Beijing's increasingly assertive tone on territorial claims, an area through which $5 trillion in shipborne trade passes annually.
President Obama announced Thursday that the U.S. will halt its military withdrawal from Afghanistan. Obama also said that 9,800 American troops will remain in Afghanistan through most of 2016, and that 5,500 troops will remain stationed at military bases through 2017. Obama told reporters, while America's combat mission to Afghanistan may be over, our commitment to Afghanistan and
Barack
its people
Obama on
endures.
Wednesday notified U.S. Congress that he intends to deploy 300 troops to Cameroon to conduct intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance operations. In a letter released by the White House, the president said 90 personnel had already been deployed and would be armed for self-defense.
Strong and getting stronger. The two-day visit of a high-ranking Chinese military delegation puts the spotlight on big plans for future cooperation between Iran and China. The two countries share a common stance with respect to many regional and international issues, which means that there's a lot of potential, as Deputy Chief of Staff of Iran's Armed Forces Major General Mohammad Bagheri noted during his meeting with the Deputy Chief of the General Staff of the People's Liberation Army of China.
She was carrying multiple signs, but after a long conversation with a woman from the religious center in a YouTube video posted by Makai Ben David, the protester then hugs the woman wearing a hijab.
There's not evil in me. There's not evil in me. I pray for my Muslim brothers and sisters. Hold on. I pray for the murdering to stop.
The protester was identified by the mosque on Facebook as Annie. She was invited into the mosque and greeted with applause.
You are the winner. Everyone is.
Be sure to watch Inside Edition.
This week, stocks finished higher as earnings season is now in full swing. Two Fed policymakers indicated this week that the central bank should hold off on lifting interest rates this year amid disappointing economic data. On Friday, preliminary volume was lower across the board. The market is in a confirmed
Scientists
uptrend.
claim they can also change your belief in God, and accepting immigrants, for example, your political beliefs, through the application of magnetic waves to the brain.
Geneva, 2 people have fallen ill with Ebola in Guinea, the World Health Organization said on Friday.
NASA's Cassini spacecraft has begun returning its best-ever views of the northern extremes of Saturn's icy, ocean-bearing moon Enceladus. The spacecraft obtained the images during its October 14th flyby, passing 1,839 kilometers above the moon's surface.
In Nablus in the West Bank, a place called Joseph's Tomb, where Joseph is believed to be buried. It's a holy site in Judaism. It's guarded by the Palestinian Authority. According to Israeli military, overnight, tens of Palestinians set ablaze to the site. Palestinian authorities responded by dispersing the crowds as well as extinguishing
Let's
the
move
fire.
over to our top story, a major long-term update. We again confirm Jupiter is changing rapidly. Remember, we've seen evidence that the Sun, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus are all changing much faster than Earth is. And boy, that's not our pollution. It's the coming grand solar minimum. Red spots still shrinking, losing color, stripes still moving, and all indicative of increased storm activity, cyclones and anticyclones, climate chaos on Jupiter. Also got a link for you to a new study of an old comet, electrical discourse about the comet tail solar wind song.
Video coming in of a terror attack in Tel Aviv in Israel. It happened on a bus in the middle of the city. A Palestinian man, according to authorities, went on board that bus and began stabbing people. He then ran off the bus and stabbed some other people. Let's head to Jerusalem now and check in with Elise Labit. I just want to warn our viewers before we show them this video. It's disturbing.
Well, that's right, Carol. This 23-year-old Palestinian gentleman from the West Bank city of Tel Kuram, a couple of stations from the main bus station in Tel Aviv, central Tel Aviv, Carol, during the start of rush hour, women, children, soldier on this bus, basically stabbed about 8 people. Then you can see in the video, the man gets off the bus, runs, kind of running around, sees another person, stabs them, and then tries to make
This
his
is how
getaway.
markets closed this Thursday, October 15th. Stocks built upon earlier gains to end the day sharply higher. The financial sector enjoyed a rally led by Citigroup, which spiked after earnings rose on lower legal costs.
A rather massive coronal hole was recently spotted on the Sun by NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory. The region, the size of 50 Earths, is spewing material into space at tremendous speeds. It may look terrifying, but astronomers say it's nothing to worry about. NASA says that these holes are magnetically exposed areas that generate high-speed solar winds.
Como decíamos, en el río Pénjamo, un aumento considerable en el caudal debido a los lahares que se precipitaron río abajo. Recordemos que los lahares son flujos de sedimento y agua que se movilizan desde las laderas de los volcanes.
Israel has authorized police to seal off parts of Jerusalem in a bid to stem a wave of deadly violence between Palestinians and Israelis. Soldiers will also be deployed to some areas as part of new measures approved at an emergency meeting convened by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The ramming of this car into a bus stop in Jerusalem is among the latest attacks. At least 7 Israelis and 29 Palestinians, including 10 alleged attackers, have died in the violence. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry says he's trying to calm the unrest.
Highways in Southern California are closed after a powerful storm triggered dangerous flash flooding. Fast-moving mudslides covered parts of Interstate 5. They stranded hundreds of cars and trucks. Some trapped drivers were there. No one was reported hurt.